Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Ramsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So Pancha Mahabhutas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, is not only centered on the body, but if you look at the entire day, we see the presence of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Some of you who would have attended Dr. R. Parthasarthi's Ayurveda sessions during the Vedic Wisdom Festival might remember how very beautifully he laid out the fact that if we are in tune with nature and our dinacharya, the way we live our day, forget, because our life is made up of the way we live our day, the way we structure it, it can be in sync, and so we can utilize our energy well for whatever are our pursuits. So 1.5 hours before the sun rises, there is a lot of sattva in the environment, and that's why it is recommended that one needs to wake up 1.5 hours at least before sunrise and welcome by doing Surya Namaskar. And we would have also observed that if and when we do this, Sattva leads to a lot of expansion and one gets a lot of insights. It's very beneficial if one is reading, ideating, doing japa and so on. Then, few hours later, it's time for a lot of rajas. So, if I say, no, I'm going to wake up for my sleep and wake up at 8 or 9 or afterwards, I will still feel groggy. Why? Because there is rajas now, it's time to act. And until noon, so this is a time of lots of activity, and so we can be productively, we can use our time well. This is important time before lunch. Then after lunch there is a slight slump, so little tamas might be there, which is good, because the body is focused on digestion and so on. And then again, there is little sattva rising around 4-ish, 4 to 6-ish. Some rajas also. And then is winding down time, tamas. So it is good to feel that you've had a good day, you are ready to sleep. So that is a blessing of tamas. If we are in sync with this day, like how the birds are, right? So the birds can be the alarm clock for us, because they are all up and about, much before sunrise. And then, of course, as they are flying back wherever they, in the evenings, then like back to their nests, we are also back to our nests, winding down, slowing down. If you are going to keep intense activity around that time, you could have trained your body and so on, but it's not so sink in, with nature. You cannot sustain that lifestyle. Because there are some professions that require one to do, evenings, nights and so on. They cannot sustain it for a long period of time. So we see that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas very much present in the environment. We can sync our dinacharya with it in terms of how we live our day, what do we do with the time, what are the kind of karma that we are involved in and so on. And gain the blessings of all of them and not be under their hold. So just a concluding verse 14.9. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajat karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Summarizing that Sattvam as though binds you in the form of seeking happiness and pleasure. Rajas binds you in the form of karma. Desires, especially the binding ones, prompt us to do a lot of karma, and it's a good thing. If we look at Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, so much activity, my goodness, so many projects all over, and that too only 32 years. Pujya Swamiji, always busy, but always relaxed. So many projects he had taken up, and especially at the latter duration of his lifetime. And still, one can be relaxed. So don't think, in the name of simplicity, sometimes we dumb down things and we say, oh, too much activity, no, rajas, no. If that activity is backed by a lot of sattva, that's fantastic. In fact, this country and the world requires more of us to act, more karma required, backed by sattva. So, but rajas can still bind us in the form of karma, always to be done, our to-do lists, which bother us, especially in the time of meditation. Okay? So, all of that. And tamas tends to cloud the buddhi. So, therefore, chal yaar, kaun karega, forget, don't worry, etc., etc. So be indifferent, don't care. I think it's cool, but it's actually apathy. Then 14.10 is indicating a predominance of one over the other. And the purpose?
Apathy is good or bad?
You say. Apathy, indifference, is it good or bad?
Apathy generally is bad. Indifference, no?
Yeah, indifference, if it is indifference to the environment, then we are here, we are meant to do our dharma, to contribute to people and others. If we don't do, things will entropy, right?
Open.
Yeah. So the opposite of apathy is like, am I doing my dharma in the given situation? The purpose of this Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is to not classify other people. Okay? It is for me to look at myself and self-correct, self-calibrate if required, or pat yourself on the back. Yeah, that's nice. I am in line with the Gita, whatever Bhagavan Krishna is saying. So it is tempting. Because, we are so observant of others' faults that we say, that one, oh my God, so rajasic, I tell you. And that other one, my God, I cannot imagine, this one is an embodiment of tamas. Just terrible. And then we feel so nice, we validate each other in the gossip. But it is not meant for this. Okay, the purpose of this is not meant to classify others. Rajas tamascha vibhuyaha sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. So when sattva becomes more predominant, now remember, sattva is not something you can observe. We are only observing, inculcating, cultivating its effects, and more we have to see. But when sattva rises by the kind of your bark, by the way you speak, the kind of dana you do, the kind of worship you do, the kind of karma you do, and so on. Then naturally rajas and tamas are subdued. Then when there is rajas, when rajas is predominant, then it subdues tamas and sattva, and of course when tamas predominates, then rajas and sattva are subdued. So sometimes, like because of the effect of rajas, like running around, fulfilling lots of desires, and then I can't sit still. It's very difficult. And then if one is talking to Americans, they say, do you have an SOP about how to relax? I get what you're saying. Yes, relax, but how does one relax? What am I supposed to do? And somebody said, no, just drop doing. What a waste of time that is. How can you not be doing? You know what? You're a human being, not a human doing. No, that's okay. That's just semantics. I feel like I'm a dharti pe boj. I have to keep doing all the time. Effect of rajas. I don't care. Let anybody do anything. I am not moving. Crocodile. Very nice. This snake park that is there near Chennai. It's amazing. Some people might have seen. So all these crocodiles, my goodness, they lie all over each other. And what amazed me was that in a day, a crocodile only requires 190 calories to live. So you can imagine the amount of activity involved. But when they pounce in a week, their prey or whatever they have fed, then of course they are very swift. So much tamas. But that's their form and it works for them, and that's fantastic. It is all Ishvara Vibhuti. So we might be inclined a little bit like crocodile sometimes. So then it will. So the thinking is clouded, there's no need, there's no desire to do any kind of activity and so on. We all have these phases, no worries, just being aware of it. Then what happens to us when there is an increase in sattva, rajas, tamas? Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidya viruddham sattva vidyuta lokah pravritirarambha karmanamashamastrava rajasetani jayante viruddhe bharatarshava. The sense organs, jnanendriya, are organs of knowledge. So constantly we are getting knowledge. And by that, the way in which the mind processes the data that one is getting, it helps us see the order. So when one values knowledge, when one seeks it, because knowledge is yathartha, that which is. So no coloring, no adding, no subtracting from it. So I'm awake to functional reality. In terms of taste, flavors, fragrances, sights, then I can have my spin on it, but at least what I see, what I experience, there is knowledge, there is illumination. So one can say, if that is indeed one's experience, then may you know that sattva is predominant in you. On the other hand, if there is lobha, I don't have enough, I want more. couples come to me for counseling, they are very keen to share a list of complaints. He's like this, she's like a long list. And then I ask them, what do you do for each other? Tell me that currently. And they will always jump to what more she should do, what more he should do. But are you valuing what you are doing for each other currently? Oh, I didn't think of that. No, exactly. That's what I think. So now you tell me, what are you giving to the other person? What are you receiving from the other person? And make them write copiously. And then say. Because this lokha is like that. Lokha is not necessarily for objects. It's for more experiences. And more. But you're not even clear what that more is for. So more if that person does, no? More. Not like buttermilk more, okay? More something has to be done. Then I'll be okay. So not valuing, appreciating what one already has will lead to this lot of loha. It's good to have ambition. Ichha Shakti is a gift given to us. The power to desire, want, will, wish, make things better. So everybody will say, yes, the world has to change. And then if one asks, by the way, who wants to change? I think they are talking about you. Everybody will nod. Yes, the world has to change for the better. Do you want to change? No, I think the other needs to change. So this wanting more, not being satisfied, constant restlessness, and this also shows up physically for us. Some of us are very fidgety. And it's not a problem, it is just indicating that there is a lot of build-up of energy which must be expended. Or there are lots of desires which are waiting for expression and therefore it is manifesting at a physical level. Ashamaha, restless, even emotionally, mentally. Things are not okay, things don't feel okay. So we see this with the young and the restless, right? Not only the series Once Upon a Time, but that restlessness kind of goes with the territory. That no matter what I do, no matter how much I have, it's not enough. And society tells you that the way you're thinking is absolutely correct. Unless you have hunger, unless you have passion, what are you going to achieve in life? Nothing. So contentment is never understood, not valued, and it's not even mentioned that contentment can coexist with ambition. It's always one or the other. This binary thinking is so encouraged, and so we get into such categories. Then we will bring that to Vedanta also. What is Satyam is Satyam, what is Mithya is Mithya, and the twain may never meet. But not quite understanding that wherever there is Mithya, there is Satyam. But anyway, that's Swamiji is handling that. So, Spriha, longing, craving. So we have already seen it is an indication that Rajas has increased. And so therefore, if I find myself being like this, then what do? I try to shift my attention to what do I know about a given situation. Because knowledge is friendly. Reality is very friendly. Reality doesn't bite. And so I am moving towards Sattva. And then, Sattva meaning I am able to see the order of laws, processes. I am able to appreciate Ishvara pervading the order and so on. Otherwise, my restlessness overwhelms Ishvara's order. I'm not even able to see that my restlessness, all my reactions, and how I am aisa kyun hu, waisa kyun hu, all that is also a part of the order. Not a problem. Then how do I know if tamas has increased? If I find myself becoming dull, and it's not just after like a 5-course meal, okay? Generally dull. Generally not feeling like doing anything. Low energy. Again, you have to check for all physiological parameters. General sense of indifference and lot of confusion. So depressed people, clinically depressed people have to be told to just move. Don't talk much to them. Just get them to move first, because little more rajas has to come into their life. Anyway, movement is good. And on top of it, with little more rajas, there is little more activity. Only then, via rajas, only one can go to sattva. You can't jump from tamas to sattva. So if I'm dwelling all the time, he said this, she said this, why I said this, why I did not say this, all regrets of the past. Rajas is like too much planning for the future, not focusing on the present. Always obsessed with roles. With a lot of rajas, I'm only thinking, okay, what should I do? What more should I do? What less should I do? After all, we have to, the quality of our life is the quality of our relationships. So, hey, hello, you cannot get moksha from the relationship. No, I will extract it for all it's worth. And then I will make it happen. But still there is restlessness. So, sattva, adequate sattva is not there. Can be cultivated, of course. You invoke it. See, that's the beauty of it. That sattva, rajas, tamas is in all of us. It is all in the environment. And so, by the right teaching, you invoke it, you cultivate it. That's all. Nothing more. It's not too dramatic. Tamas can be mistaken for vairagya. I'm not interested in anything. ये सब माया मोह है. I don't want to do any activity. I think I'm really slowing down. Hey, all your life only you were slow. What you're talking about? No. I think I need more vairagya in my life. No, you need more activity. No, then I will get caught up in everything. That's exactly the point. That you are afraid you will get caught up in something. How can you get caught up in anything? No, it just disturbs me, I just keep myself out of all these things. If events and situations have such a capacity to disturb, then clearly I am not thinking clearly. Tamas has overwhelmed me. A lot of people I see in Vedanta circles mistake the vairagya they have. They think it is vairagya, it is tamas. And so you can do like a self-check here. I don't want to get involved, I don't want any activity. But let's look at your age and stage of life. It's a different thing if you mention this at 70 or something. Been there, done that, complete life. Fantastic. So, uski bina, you're saying at 25, I have no interest in anything. I am ready to walk off. It just means you've had a broken love affair. That's all. Nothing more. You've not processed it, and you are thinking it is vairagya. And also, tamas can contribute to adharma. Because if I don't do my dharma, who will? I have been given a unique position according to all the choices I have made. Then I am indifferent. Then that will inspire indifference from others. They don't do their dharma, I don't do, then there is decline in society. I just mentioned 16.1. Although it's not talking so much about Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, but because of the presence of the word Sattva, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnanayo Vyavastitihi Dhanam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam. The 16th chapter of the Gita mentions about Devi Sampatti, page 9, and Asuri Sampatti. So Sampatti is wealth. So the wealth of the Devas. Where are the pots of gold? Oh, they are with you. That's your wealth. No, your character, your embodiment of dharma. So Bhagavan Krishna encourages Arjuna that the wealth of the gods has to be cultivated, because we have all of this in some measure or the other. And that's why we value it. We value dharma because dharma is in some ways very innate to us. And if we didn't, then we wouldn't value dharma or whatever we see outside. So Sattva Samshuddhihi, there is a movement, there is an encouragement to cultivate more sattva in one's life, or rather become sattvika. And this is mentioned as a wealth to be cultivated, to be invested in, so that one can reap the returns for the entire lifetime. ROI is very good for sattva. Then we jump to 17th chapter, some select verses. Shraddha is not only an important quality mentioned in Adhikaritvam, but it is for an astika, for someone who recognizes the Veda as a means of knowledge. Being Shraddha Maya. Mayat here is in the sense of prachurya, abundance. That may you be fully pervaded with Shraddha. Because Shraddha is what influences your life. So what is this Shraddha? Shraddha Dhati iti Shraddha. So that attitude that gives you knowledge, trust. So Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha iti Shraddha. How I'll have Shraddha in the Veda? If I have some Shraddha in life, how to have Shraddha in life? I have been betrayed so often. We look for consistency, right? We have been looking for consistency since we were born. And then, as we find, our parents are not consistent. Our best friend was not consistent. I said, don't tell my secret, but the person went and blurted it. Then boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, children promised a lot of things, said a lot of things, could not honor it. Largely honored it, but off and on there have been lapses. And if this is not discerned, that what I was really looking for is the need for the infallible, the need for a being who could do no mistake. I will keep moving from one person to another, even to a guru, and will always be disappointed. What I am really looking for is the infallible, that is Bhagavan, not understood, and then I can be very bitter, very disillusioned. But you know how people are. And then there will be songs also composed. Ya ye dunya hai aisa aisa aisa. So Shraddha is cultivated bit by bit. Vishwasa. We have more Vishwasaha in all the home delivery apps. Consistent, reliable. They said they will deliver between 7 and 9. Okay, done. Trusting another person? No. Better not trust, People will give you advice also. And here it is not the childish trust that the other person will never hurt me. It is a trust that even if the other hurts me, even if I hurt the other person, we are committed to each other's growth and happiness, that we can heal from the hurt. But some people believe trust means, infallibility. The person can do no wrong. I will not do any wrong. But we are not consistent, and we better admit it. But we can strive for consistency. So whoever the person is, whether it's your child, your partner, your work colleague, that am I committed to whatever is the support that is required, so that whatever are the mutual goals, we can move in that direction. Then if there are some lapses here and there, we can work through it. It's not a big deal. It's okay. We trust the foundation of that relationship enough that we will work through the hurt. We will work through the disappointment. Then I can handle anything. Okay, no, so what if you get hurt? Like one big disaster has happened. And honestly, so what about it? No, we should not be hurt. Who made that rule? Hello? If you are sensitive, you will be hurt, and that's okay. Just take it in your stride, move on. As a hurt person, when I come to Vedanta, I will not have Shraddha. Anyway, with so much Purvajanma Punya, we have parachuted. Okay? We didn't even know much about Karma Kanda, what is there, etc. We have not fully experienced the benefit of mantras, meditations. Then slowly you get introduced, you say, wow, this is amazing, this is so powerful. Slowly Shraddha increases. So the Shraddha of a person is also classified into Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Trividha bhavati Shraddha dehinam sa svabhavaja Sattviki rajasi chaiva tamasi cheti tam shano. So the Shraddha of the person is definitely based on the nature of the mind. So more Sattvika person will have a greater Shraddha, and if I don't understand something, I will make the effort to understand. I will not dwell and let the doubt remain janmantara. We don't entertain much confusion. You have a doubt? Clarify. So because value is there for Sattva. Even the way one's the core values of dharma that you identify for yourself, and the way you look upon your life priorities, a lot of it depends on your trusting the process of life. So Shraddha in the Veda or Shraddha in the teaching will contribute to your trust of life, trust of yourself. Sometimes you say, I don't trust myself to do it, whatever that is. Right? Why not? You're functioning okay. No, but I have made so many promises to myself, and so many times I have started projects, I've given up. So one amazing statistic, in all the online courses that people enroll across the world, from that MOOC, na? What is it? MOOC only it was called. So 2012 onwards, they did a study to find out how many people actually complete courses. And the shocking thing is, 95% of people across the world who have enrolled in online courses on all kinds of subjects do not complete courses. Nobody prompted you to join. Okay, maybe some discount was offered, so you joined something. All of us have enrolled in different online courses, and we all know how many we have completed and not. And of course, we were all very well-meaning. So much enthusiasm. Yes, we will do it. Then something or the other takes over. So Shraddha in life, Shraddha in oneself, Shraddha in others, trusting, not always second guessing. See, sometimes what happens is, because of the hurt that all of us have experienced in the past, we become control freaks. Right? So, I better protect myself so that nobody will have that power or control over me. Or they don't know anything, I will manage. Okay? Anyway, people are inefficient. I will do it. Okay. Then of course I'm managing projects, but then that contributes to an orientation to manage all the time. And of course there will be situations I cannot manage. Then what will happen is feverish rajas will take over. I'm playing and replaying so many situations in my mind all the time because I'm actually wanting to control the situation. I cannot control the external situation, so I control my inner narrative. I'm trying to get the best inner narrative possible so that I am not disturbed. So much drama we do, Then you say, I don't know why I overthink. I wish I had stopped overthinking, but I just cannot help myself. I overthink because I want to control everything. Surrender is a problem for me. So Shraddha involves both proactivity as well as surrender. And how does it impact us? Or how does it influence what we do? Yajante Sattvika Devan Raksham Rajasaha Vedan Bhutaganas Chanye Yajante Tamasa Janaha. The worship of Devatas. Sattvika people tend to do that. During in much of the Karma Kanda of the Vedas, so Indra, Varuna, Agni were worshipped far more. So all the Devatas are worshipped by Sattvika people. Okay. Then for some special kinds of karma, people who are Rajasika are inclined towards Yakshas or Rakshasas. And there are some people who thrive on other people not doing well. So what we refer to as Vyabhichara. Okay? In English we use the word black magic. I don't know what is black about it and what is magic about it. But still the technical word is Vyabhichara. So, one of the most inexpensive ways for us to be happy is to delight in the happiness of others. Let them spend the resources, let them have all the fun and enjoyment. Seeing them happy, I am happy. Wow, how wonderful. But that's not how it happens. They are more happy. No way. I cannot have them be more happy Or they are having such a good time and they just, some guys have all the luck, Rod Stewart. So, how can they have all the luck? No. So, there are some people who will be inclined to cause harm, hurt to others. And for that, they have to invoke the worship of gunas. So, gunas are beings that are helpful, that are there around most of the devatas. Sometimes Sattvika, but sometimes it could be Tamasika also. So who you seek to worship? First of all, having an Ishta Devata, we have that freedom. The culture is so rich that whoever you feel you want to relate to, you are free. And what amazes me is that in any family, let's say there are 4 people, all 4 will have different Ishta Devata. That's beautiful. It's not that everybody must worship Shiva or Vishnu. And at the same time, if the Kula Devata or Kula Devi is, a particular Devata, then there is worship for that also. And whoever is the Grama Devata. So acknowledging the blessings of Devatas for all different processes. Sattvika people are more inclined towards. Then the kind of food that are desired by different kinds of people. Although from a marketing standpoint, you just add the word Sattva in any product you are selling, there is a good tendency that people will buy it because people want, right? Sattvik biscuits, Sattva organics, Sattva something, okay? But really speaking, there is no Sattvik food. There is some food that is described which is preferred by people who have Sattva. And here also, onions, potatoes, pumpkins are not mentioned in the Gita. Only the different vegetables, fruits or grain cereals, the quality of those different foods, only that is being mentioned here. So if anybody says, it's mentioned in the Gita, no, please ask them, which verse, by the way? Unless you state the pramana, and don't take it at face value. And the reason all this is mentioned is just so that we know what would promote our good health and what is to be avoided. Okay, spirituality is not about what happens in the kitchen. Some people in this whole fad of organic eating become so rigid about the foods to eat, foods to avoid, that they become nasty to people around them. That's not Sattva. And they will say, no, I am, for the sake of the entire family, I am ensuring you all have Sattvik food and this is what you all do. So basically, ghas poos is only for goats, we are not going to eat this. I took so much effort, and nowadays in families, like everybody has some or the other diet going on. So 3-4 types of things have to be prepared for people. So keeping all that in mind, food cannot be such a source of shaming another one. But so many people around the world do this on a daily basis. What kind of food you've prepared? What is this? No salt. Too spicy. Or not enough spice. Don't we have enough spice in the kitchen? This is not Sattva. You are asking for, let's say, vegetables or fruits, and you're shouting about it and humiliating the other person. I mean, come on. Okay. Ayu sattvagarokya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasya snigdha sthiraritya ahara sattvika priyaha. People who value sattva like foods that promote ayuhu, longevity, sattva, clarity, arogya, good health, strength, pleasure in tastes, and a certain aesthetic. But what are these kinds of food? So something, like fruits that are succulent, that include ghee if it is cooked. So something that is creamy, that is fortifying. So different grains, cereals, proteins, what we, in our language. So it's just like a general guideline, and we have basic nutritional knowledge to figure out what is it that will help, that will promote. Then, as opposed to that, what is it that Rajasika people like? Katvam, Lalakana, Yushna, Tikshna, Ruksha, Vidahinaha, Ahara, Rajasasyeshta, Dukkashokamaya Pradaha. So in Ayurveda, in a meal, having the 6 flavors is considered complete. So that's why this thali was very popular and was considered like complete. So there will be something that is sweet, then salty, then astringent, bitter, and so on. Here the reference is to anything that is ati, excessive. So one friend, we used to go to eat pani puri, and this friend of mine would say, "Aur tikha dalo," very spicy, and tears are streaming down her eyes. But the joy of eating tikha, and then she's telling, and there was so much, tears and all. नहीं, बहुत मजा आ रहा है. तो और भी तीखा डालिए भैया. So this is, so much activity like tikha. So anything that is ati, excessively bitter, or excessively sour, excessively salty, excessively hot. So pungent. So don't think, okay, if I like tea, that means it should be boiling hot only, then I can have tea. I cannot have. Some people keep tea and then they'll say, okay, after 10 minutes I will have. So don't classify, I like excessively hot tea, I must be Rajasika. Not like that. Okay. So, because or anything that is to do with Sattvika, that's me. That's also not the intention. Just to check. But all of this, what is the point of this? You can have any preference, it's okay. No, but piles and lot of other things happen. So all these excessive tastes and flavors over a period of time will give you dukkha, and it will give you ill health. But I still have ill health. I have such a clean lifestyle, such a clean palate. They could be for other reasons. Karma catches up with everyone. So this is what is desired by Rajasika people. Then Yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitam chayat uchishtam cha vedhyam pujanam tamasapriyam. So a yamam. What is a yamam? Duration? Anybody knows? 3 hours. Right? So once the food is cooked, and then after a few hours if you are going to eat it, so we know that it is recommended you heat it before eating, because the natural process of it getting stale and so on happens. So food that is not adequately cooked or has been kept not reheated, from which rasam gataha has gone away, pav bhaji is bhaji, done many times over, or the gravy in a lot of restaurants, you think, oh, I'm going to order 2 or 3 different things. The same gravy but different vegetables will be put. And excessively cooked, some of it. So from which the rasam has gone. Rasam is not the rasam sambar, but the rasa, the essence has gone. So that is something that a tamasika person will prefer. And something which is even excessively fermented. I remember one, me and a couple of my childhood friends, we had gone to Paris. And both these friends, they live in the US. So they are all into this experimentation of different cheeses and all, which of course I also enjoy. Then one of them likes blue cheese. Anyone who knows blue cheese, then... So then, one of them, so she was educating me. Oh, there is blue cheese and all. Okay. So we go to one of those stores. And then she's pointing out, and then she said, okay, can I taste it? Before she was going to purchase it. Then the thing opened, and that person, she took out that whatever the blue cheese. And I'm looking around, like, where is this smell of sewage coming? Honestly. I couldn't believe it. I was like, did you smell something? She said, no, this is blue cheese. I said, are you sure? I don't know you. I'm not going to travel with you with this kind of smell, my God. But one can develop a taste for something that smells so putrid, like really decayed, stale. But even for that, there are takers. Right? So anything that has been kept overnight. For the Vedic tradition, food means it is cooked. Even all the salads and whatever people speak about, according to Ayurveda, some little cooking is involved. Little roasting, raw food all the time not encouraged. Anyway, so something that is not...
Not even fruits?
No, fruits of course. Fruits are, fine. No, raw food also, again, in some quantities, definitely. But it's difficult to, state a principle because it is so customized, right? What will work for one person will not work for the other person. Like onion and garlic, even meat is okay for some people. Especially people living in cold countries. According to Ayurveda, they can have fish. You have whatever is lowest on the scale. Because what do they do when there is no growth of vegetables and so on? Then there are some modifications that are required. But anyway, overall, anything that is amidhyam, not fit to offer, stale, putrid, if there is a tendency to like that kind of food, then may you know that is something that a tamasika person would prefer. That's all, nothing more. Then we look at the types of yajna. Aphalakaṁshibhir yajñah vidhi drishto ya ichyate yashtam yamevedi manaha samadhaya sa sattvikaha. So we are all worshipful. We probably do vidhis, rituals. What is the purpose for doing puja, let's say? My children should be fine. My family should be fine. In one of the Kumbh Melas that I had gone to, I was chatting with a lot of the women. You know, the women, it's, if you have not gone for Kumbh Mela, you all must go for at least one. You see the Shraddha of people across the country. People who can barely walk will walk for hours. And a lot of them, they will just take one potli and then, or they have set off from their village. They don't know where they're going to sleep. But कहीं मिल जाएगा, कुछ खाना मिल जाएगा, कहीं पे सो जाएंगे, it's okay. So I ask these women, you know, what are you hoping to do here? नहीं, हमारा क्या है, हम तो परिवार के लिए है, तो परिवार ठीक है, हम ठीक है. So हम स्नान करेंगे, ये I will do this sacred day, so that is my sankalpa. My family should be fine. It's a very valid desire to have, very sweet, very noble. If it is one's dharma, that's fine. It is one's dharma, one wishes for that. But that may not necessarily be entirely sattvic. So that vidhi, yaha ichyate, aphalakangshipihi. So I do it for the joy of relating to the devatas, and I'm so clear that no matter what happens in my life in terms of outcomes, my heart will still want more. So, Sattvika Yajna comes from a very strong Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So here the intention, the purpose is only Antakarna Shuddhi. Who wants that? How boring! What? When you can ask for more, why shouldn't you? That there is so much clarity that whether I get stuff, whether situations happen according to what I want or they don't, I am not defining myself by an event. I am not defining myself by the outcome of an event. I am okay wherever I am, however I am. I am pursuing moksha, seeing that I am free. I was always free. And therefore I need the Shuddhi for this. That's not easy. Sattvika Yajna is not easy. So this, don't take it as a should. We have a tendency to convert whatever we hear into one more should. Oh, that means now I should ask for Antakarna Shuddhi only. That's not what the Gita is saying. Ask for whatever you want, maybe after some time. We also see that the extent or the length of the list decreases. Either because whatever we wanted more or less has happened. Now there are no more these binding desires. So there is some santushti, there is some contentment. Or whatever happens, I'm fine with it. calls for a great Shuddhi. That I am in harmony with the order. Of course I am putting in all my effort. Of course I am doing my dharma in the context of my many ways. And of course the laws of karma take over. So whatever needs to come will come. No problem. So prayers, yajna, puja, done for the sake of antakarna shuddhi is sattvika. That it is to be done, I do it. I don't negotiate. You know, when people start doing puja or even start doing japa, first of all, this ichha came only is very good. But then we will start negotiating. Can I do it 10 times? Well, do one mala. My mornings are very rushed. I don't think I can do it. Okay, karma always has alternatives. Okay, you do that. The same power of negotiation you have. Do you negotiate at work? Can I work like 2 hours less today? No, what negotiate at work? No, come on, can't do that. Then why are you negotiating on puja or yajna or japa? This is vidhi, it is to be done nitya. It is a part of your rinam towards devatas who are blessing you every moment. So Vayu Devata is blessing us as we speak, all of them, all devatas. And I'm not saying that you have to do very elaborate ritual, but however you are doing your honoring the different sets of relationships, this is not negotiable. How do you honor your devatas? How do you honor your pitras, your ancestors? How do you honor your rishis, teachers, acharyas from whom, whatever you have gained, living or not living? How do you honor the environment? How do you honor people around you? All this is non-negotiable. Of course, it is all yatha shakti, according to capacity, yatha mati also. But it is to be done. Not with ironclad kind of thing, but you have a value for what is to be done. And I am doing this not for the sake of respect, not for mana, not to get brownie points, but it is such a privilege for me to do. And the raga dvesha that is troubling me often, I am able to neutralize it. Because the more it's neutralized, I see the vision of the Shastra. It becomes more and more clear to me. So single-minded pursuit and a value for antakarna shuddhi without self-condemnation. Being honest, yes, there are certain areas of growth, yes, this needs to be worked on, we'll do it. I have all the support of all devatas, rishis, etc. Then as opposed to that, abhisandhaya tu phalam dambharthamapi chaiva yat ichyate bharata shreshtham yajnam viddhi rajasam. So the puja, yajna, rituals that we do, done for the sake of different kinds of sankalpa in the context of dharma, artha, kama. You can't have a yajna for moksha. Okay? So the greatest Veda doesn't have a yajna for moksha? Doesn't have a ritual for moksha? Because moksha is praptasya praptihi. It is already gained. The Veda will only help you with apraptasya praptihi. What you don't have and you want, dharma, artha, kama, that it can help you with. But you are already free. So since all these desires are raging in the heart, then doing yajna, doing puja, doing different kinds of rituals with akanksha, with desires in mind, may you know that that is rajasika yajna. And also to show off, to prove that you are superior. You know, sometimes we see people who chant. Now, it is a blessing if one is able to have learned Vedic chanting and to make an offering. That's very nice. But some people, they will chant, then they will look around. Nobody else knows. See? In their head, they are thinking, I'm so great. That need for significance keeps pushing us to prove I am superior, you are not. This is not necessarily spoken, but it is there. This is Rajasika Yajna. Then, Vidhihinam Srishtangam Mantrahinam Adakshinam Shraddha Virahitam Yajnam Kavasam Parichakshate. So Vidhi that is done, because I feel like doing it in my way. This individuality that the modern society so encourages starts very early. Do you want to wear red or blue today? I mean, it's good for the child to have choice. But we might want to reflect whether in the name of choice we are encouraging more raga dvesha. Even in the foods that we eat, I know if you go to order coffee, you've had it. Exhausting, yeah, it's really exhausting. Because of all the choices that will be presented before you. And if you are like me who doesn't want to make these kind of decisions, like no, I don't want this choice, just want simple good old coffee, that's it. So this individuality is, raga, dvesha and so on. And so, my opinion, my wishes, my desires, my aspirations, my kind of puja, my Gita. Gita is Gita, okay? What is this my Gita? No, I should have the freedom to express myself. Nobody is taking it away from you. But you are choosing to do a ritual that is going on in the tradition. You are free to express your love and care for Bhagavan in any which way. But if you are seeking to do a puja, learn it properly. If you value doing it, might as well learn it. No, whatever I feel like doing, I will do. So there is no stipulation of the Shastra in terms of the steps and so on. And don't start thinking, I don't know the proper steps that I do. Maybe I am making mistakes. It's okay, because there is one additional thing. At least your Shraddha is there. Even if there are any mistakes, one is of course you can learn properly, and the other is that your bhava will make up for it. Because sometimes we can become hyper anxious. Oh, it has to be done correctly. Where is your bhava in all of it? Sometimes we see down south, they are scratching their head, chanting away, but attention is all over. Shraddha is not there. Chanting may be perfect. So bhava and annadanam that goes along with doing a proper vidhi. Annadanam considered very shrestha in the culture. Because just like Brahma Vidya, you can say Aham Purnaha. See, anything you do for another person, there is also a little more left to be desired. I could have done more, etc. But every time we eat, even if you had a good meal, you don't want any more. At least for that moment. So, Aham Purnaha. So, Annadanam, great contribution, great punya. So then, when you go to the Pandit and you say, okay, this particular day is coming up. So they will say, okay, you can do this Shanti. Something related to the planets. Then you can also do Annadanam. Why should I do Annadanam? I can do you for the ritual, no? No, how much more it will cost? Okay, let me see, I'll figure out in terms of budget. But if you were to go on a vacation and then there is an unexpected expense, let's say the flights got rescheduled, then so much thinking won't happen. You just want to get there in time and so on, that's it. But why I should do Annadanam? I don't want to do. All these Pandits, they are just out to make more money. Then the whole conversation will be about the Pandits. You wanted to do a puja, vidhi, whatever it is. Why are you getting lost in this kind of talk? I'm not saying there may be some Pandits that are very money-minded. I'm not denying that. Or even when it comes to Dakshina, giving Dakshina, a ritual is considered incomplete if you do not give Dakshina. But there also, sometimes we will haggle like potatoes, onions. We will not hesitate to splurge on a meal in a restaurant. But to give 500 rupees to the Pandit, to give 1000 rupees to the Pandit who did such a big ritual, it's like surgery for you. Adrishta Phala level, it's a surgical strike. Surgical procedure. For that, so much hesitation means so much decline in the culture that I do not recognize a professional who has given his time to perform a ritual for me, which will help me in my life. So this kind of thinking, without Shraddha, you do it just for the heck of it, etc., is all Tamas. We'll stretch, for another 10 minutes, then we'll close. Then, type of tapas, the right topic. Okay. So, this tapas is divided into Kaika, Vachika and Manasika. Deva Dvijaguru Pragya Pujanam Shauchavarjavam Brahmacharya Mahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So what is Shariram Tapasya? So tapaha involves a lot of effort. In some ways, moving out of one's comfort zone. What does it involve? Showing respect towards devatas, dvijaha. Dvijaha means twice born, brahmanas. So only when one is initiated into the Gayatri, the Yajnopavittam ceremony, only then you are considered purified. Samskara. It is anyway one of the 16 samskaras. But with all the Purva Janma samskara, more purification is required, and therefore the blessing of the Gayatri, which is not praying for Swarga, not for a good life, not for a visa to the US, not for apsaras dancing around you, but just brilliance of the mind. That wherever I am, in whichever situation, I will navigate. That's all I need. That's the working capital. Enough. I will make whatever other capital that is required. What a blessing. Could be Gayatri Mantra, could be any mantra. So Brahmanas who are twice born and who commit themselves, okay, these are the true Brahmanas, okay, who commit themselves to the study of the Veda, or at least study to some commitment to some Nitya Puja Japa, Guru, teachers, and there's a typo there, and Prajnaya. So the people who are wise, worshipping them. Right? How is that tapasya? Because there is some effort involved. Sometimes you may not feel like doing it. Things may be required to be procured, or the effort required for seva. It's not easy. So this seva is such an important part of a Vedanta student's life. It's not according to my time. That you want to make the life of the Guru easier, so that most of the time is spent in sharing and teaching this knowledge. And therefore you are working through your raga dveshas to be of service to the person. So much effort is involved in doing a yajna, get the fruits, get all the material, samagri. And then of course, if you don't have specs, you don't have protection, then of course all the, even the homa, then all the smoke and everything, it's not easy. But it is still done because you value tapas. Otherwise we are slaves to the comfort of a situation. Then additionally, shaucham. So focusing on external cleanliness, arjavam, alignment, not being manipulated. So when people are around you, they are not worried that you will manipulate them. Just you're straightforward. There is discipline, brahmacharya. Self-discipline, damaha also we can look at it. And ahimsa is a discipline, not only samanya dharma, but requires effort. Somebody hurt you, somebody said something rude. You just want to strike back. The empire strikes back. And then to not do that. This doesn't mean you have to be a doormat for sure. Because in the name of ahimsa, people tolerate a lot of nonsense. Thank God, Arjuna did not understand what Krishna is calling. He's teaching as yes, I will abide by ahimsa, no war for me. We will buy into that argument. It's okay, you have suffered for 13, 14 years, suffer for the rest of your life. Don't worry, you anyway got used to living in the forest. Why should you fight for dharma? There is no need. Then because of your action, so many people will die. You must go with ahimsa only. So what if Duryodhana has taken your property? Learn to accommodate. It is okay. This is our understanding of ahimsa. We are afraid of conflict, and then yes, ahimsa. But here, we have a tendency to hurt, to harm. Just walking by, you want to pluck some leaves or stone. So this is very special. Most people, you see one pond, generally I've seen young boys, they will want to pick up a stone and then, throw it. It's nice, the way it was, what do you call that? The way it jumps. There's a skill to it. But there are people who are they really harm animals. And there are like shocking videos that one sees that how could you? Like what's going on with a person to want to harm another person just to feel powerful? I mean, how ridiculous is that? But anyway, in the way in which we are with people around us, not only at work, okay, the family gets to see the true picture. Is there ahimsa in the way in which we are with them? Because that is everyday tapas. You are looking for sadhana. Well, this is everyday daily tapas in terms of how you are interacting with people. Is there a tendency to humiliate, to diminish, to put down another person with your words and your actions? But I want things done in this way. Something to reflect. Okay? And this respect is a very integral part of the culture. So it also means that, one is not very casual or frivolous or trivial about devatas, rishis, gurus and so on. Of course, in modern day living, there is a great value for casualness, which is nice, but along with that, the value for reverence is equally important. Because this culture, the fact that we consider everything sacred comes from reverence, comes from seeing that everything is created by Bhagavan. Then, what is Vak tapas? Again, looking for sadhana, there is a lot here. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vamayam tapa uchyate. So, Vangmaya tapas. There are 4-5 points mentioned here. And all of them have to be present for it to be considered Vak tapas. So Vak is an organ of speech. Remember, it's a karmendriya, so punya papa. So your speech, whatever you say to whoever, that speech which does not cause agitation. That's why I just keep quiet, all the time. No, that's not correct. No, a person should understand. Okay? You want to control, right? You have a need for control your own speech. So, Satyam, Priya, some pleasantness. And is it necessary? You travel anywhere in India, if you are traveling by train especially, get into conversation. There are people around who will give you advice. Maybe we also give advice, right? So nobody has asked us for it. I think what you should do is this. Hey, who asked you for it? First of all, the advice that is given is never acted upon or hardly ever acted upon. But I am restless because I see something not okay with you and I want to share my great expertise. And it is good for you. That's why I am telling you hitam. This is not hitam, this is inner pressure. Okay? Understand it to be so. So, Vak tapas, if I want to practice, then whatever I speak, now this doesn't mean now I am watching myself, I have to walk on eggshells. First of all, I was so conscious of what I say, what I don't say. Anyway, people don't listen. On top of it, now I Vak tapas have to do. Okay, so relax. We see how we can bring in whatever we say, let it not cause agitation. There are some people, the moment they start speaking, it causes agitation in you. Maybe because of some purva samskara, okay? But also just the way they approach the person, it starts causing reaction in you. So both it's important for you also to be tough. At the same time, let me not trigger people. Anyway, people are triggered all the time. So at least in terms of my contribution, let my speech have all these elements. So element of satyam, priyam, pleasant, necessary and not causing agitation. In moments of conflict, I know that there will be agitation. I have no problem with agitation, but deliberately not causing agitation. So understand the difference. Otherwise we say, no conflict, no argument, that means everything is going well. But things are only simmering beneath the surface. So agitation is not a problem for us, but deliberately causing that, we want to be conscious of. So all of this, plus swadhyaya. So a lot of people, even if they are studying this Trivedi or Chaturvedi, the ones who followed the 3 Vedas or the Chatur Vedas may not have that practice. So it is a part of one's dharma to do swadhyaya, just little bit reading of one's Veda, which starts with, of course, knowing which Veda you belong to, which Gotra and so on. And or doing one's japa. So doing that every day is a part of your Vak Tapas. Then there is what is Manasika Tapas, but we will look at it next time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sthiraha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.